You are listening to the Beaverton, North America's trusted source of news.
This week on the Beaverton, the Ford government says the Eglinton LRT could open this year in a statement they clearly copy and pasted from the release they put out last year. Wayne Gretzky plays golf with Trump. It's like he always says, you miss 100% of the chances to hobnob with rapey wannabe dictators you don't take. And Putin says Russia is ready for a war with Europe, adding, as long as they invade in the winter again. That's right, it's time to make fun of the news once again on the Beaverton Weekly Report. Welcome to the show, everyone. So glad you were tuning in. I'm your host, Luke Gordon-Field. Joining me this week are three of our regular panelists, one of whom has made Time Magazine pretty mad. Ian MacIntyre, Clare, Blackwood, and Nile Seguin. Welcome, all three of you.
It was an accident.
It's not me.
We're gonna get bombed because of you.
Oh, God damn it.
What? I would say it's because of the Time Magazine fact checkers or whoever's doing research.
By fact checkers, you mean the AI algorithm they use and don't fact check with a copy editor they fired 3 years ago?
Your Time Magazine.
Yes, CBC News World definitely made me put an allegedly in that. So I wasn't doing libel right on the air.
Yeah, I think we should quickly give a little bit of context for those who haven't heard the story. Ian, you want to kind of unpack it?
Oh, yeah, Nile's voting, no context, no. So basically what happened was back in September, U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra was being a wiener, and he went to some security conference in Halifax and was like, I don't get why Canada doesn't like the U.S. Just being a jerk. And I wrote an article about that heightened that only slightly to say something to the effect of like, Canada, that we could very easily bomb Parliament Hill with a Patriot missile, which is really only a slight exaggeration for Pete Hoekstra, who looks like a meaner Lawrence Tierney. And anyone
don't know who Lawrence Tierney is.
Reservoir Dogs? Anyone? Never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that got it. Yep.
All my references are too old. Anyway, so that happened in September. Beginning of October. There, Nile's got it.
Yeah.
We'll put a photo of him up on the screen.
He was also Elaine's dad on Seinfeld.
He was Elaine's dad on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, Elaine's dad. Sorry, I thought you were talking George.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, exactly.
This is what Time would have looked at this kind of like discussion, but like, that can't be real, right?
Yeah,
All right,
They're going to print all of this as fact. So Time Magazine, in October, someone wrote an op-ed about the Trump-Canada relationship, and they cited that quote that I just mentioned as if it was a real quote, and did not cite us, which seems unfair. We should at least get a nickel for that. And then that sat there for several months until someone from a different satirical news show was doing a segment on that guy and saw that quote and was like, that doesn't sound real, and Googled it and found the Beaverton and was like, I have to email MacIntyre about this because he should know about this.
Yes.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a real example of like, one, the death of journalism and fact checking, and it's a real cry for humanity on two levels. Because one, this lunatic is the ambassador to Canada, and two, Time Magazine can't tell satire from reality. But also, it's like, you know, haha, those fucking idiots. It's fine.
Hey, it was the week that we were reboosting the Patreon, so it was great for us. We got lots of eyeballs.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and you know, to complete the story, obviously, like CBC wrote about it. That story went pretty viral.
Yeah,
and then you were on like Hannah Mansing Tonight
CTV.
talking about it. CTV
and
Hannah
stuff.
Mansing Tonight.
Oh yeah, that was the one last Friday.
Did he ask about me?
I didn't get to talk to him. It was unfortunate. Yeah,
he boycotted. He won't talk about anything you're involved with. He's like, no, I won't deal with it.
You know what? I know what I did.
So that's been our little fun, like, we're in the news, not just making fun of the news this week.
which I don't care for. Get us out of the news, please.
It was I thought that Beaverton was satire moment coming true.
Yeah, buy that T-shirt. We should have
I'll be wearing that T-shirt in the rubble of Canada when America decides to nuke us.
Yeah, we should have sent Time that T-shirt and been like, you need to post a photo of someone wearing this T-shirt.
Send it to Pete.
It's not too late for either of those.
Yeah.
Pete, send us your address for shipping.
So in Ottawa, the U.S. Embassy had to issue a comment on this, which makes me laugh to no end.
Yeah, that was the part where they were like, obviously it's fiction. It's like, okay, take it easy. Like, you guys have said some really fucked up shit. Let's not act like it's crazy. Someone thought you were making threats.
Yeah.
All right. Well done on fooling Time and finding out about it 2 months later. And also, let's dive into the news that we're not a part of, but that we like to talk about.
Yet.
Let's see what legacy publications we can get in trouble this week. Let's do it. Watch out, Newsweek.
Start a pool.
It's like how Springsteen was on the cover of Newsweek and Rolling Stone in the same week. It's just two legacy magazines falling through our bullshit.
No. I want to fuck up the Sun.
I mean, if the Sun, who we have made fun of 8 million times, still doesn't know that we're satire.
Oh, she's not talking about the newspaper.
Oh,
No, I want to fuck up the sun.
The gas giant that warms our universe. Yes.
Yeah.
All fair requests. We can definitely do that. Okay, let's talk about the news. The fallout reaction to the memorandum of understanding signed between Alberta and Canada has continued. We talked about the details of the agreement last week because they leaked kind of in advance of the signing on Thursday. So I don't want to go through them all again, but suffice to say it's essentially like support for a pipeline with very little concrete details on how that's going to happen. Sort of Carney lobbing the pipeline ball, tennis court style into Danielle Smith's side of the court, as well as relaxing of certain climate emissions regulations on Alberta. But Alberta, the trade-off is going to increase their industrial carbon pricing, which I was shocked they had any pricing on industrial carbon emissions in Alberta. So fun learning experience for me.
They're increasing it up to 0.
It's like, we'll do it by 1,000,000 times 0.
Exactly.
Before you got paid for carbon emissions.
Yeah.
And they're like, this feels wrong. Let's get it up to 0. People are watching.
Yeah, it was negative numbers. So I can't remember a news story in recent years or months where I have seen political columnists so aggressively divided in terms of how they interpret the same event. Because I have seen, so many people like Chantal Bear on Manager's podcast was like, this was an idiotic move by Carney. It's going to cost the Liberals seats in BC and Quebec. It's going to help the NDP everywhere, which leads to more splitting of the left of center and centrist vote and more chances of conservatives.
And she probably said it with that cool Quebecois stank on it.
She really did, yeah.
You don't want to get chewed out by Chantal Bear.
No. Well, she was arguing with, I forget the other guy's name on that podcast who's not Mansbridge, but she was arguing with him. That's his role. He's the other guy who's not Mansbridge.
Hi, I'm not Mansbridge.
And not Hebert. And he was in favor of it, and she was just like, you fucking idiots. That was so her vibe. Anyways, so she is coming out and being like, okay, and obviously we're going to talk about the Stephen Guilbeault resignation in a second. So she obviously was talking about that as well. And then, of course, pointing out that this is going to have a huge, if the pipeline goes through, huge impact on our Paris Climate Accords, as we also talked about last week. In contrast, there were articles written by, for example, Max Fawcett in the Observer, basically describing it as one of the most brilliant political masterstrokes of recent years, Carney specifically, completely hoodwinking Smith, because the pipeline isn't going to get built, but Smith has to agree to these regulations now, and the raising of the industrial carbon pricing is going to more than outweigh all the other changes to the climate regulations that are being put in place, because that's how the vast majority of the reductions we've seen so far have been through the industrial carbon pricing, And so this is a complete trick job. Carney's completely hoodwinked Smith. So, like I said, hugely disparate reactions. And then obviously there was a million opinions in the middle. Who do you guys think came out ahead, Carney or Smith?
I think that's a trick question. I think the answer is the upcoming climate war wins, regardless.
The wasteland?
Yes, the wasteland wins.
By coming closer to fruition.
Correct.
Yeah. The wasteland calls to us all.
Okay, I have a hot take.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know. Maybe this is very silly, but I was like, I was like, is Carney smart? I can't tell. And then I read this story. I'm like, he's just really well dressed. Oh no. 'Cause, here's the thing. I mean, this is I guess I'm bizarro world Clare, because the International Energy Agency says that demand for fossil fuels is going to peak in 2030.
Yeah.
And we're going to break ground on this in 2029, which is fucking, hey, you know what? Let's corner the DVD market, you guys. Is anyone, can we do asbestos? It's just so fucking crazy to me, because it's the whole renewable thing is no longer just a kind of thing that, wouldn't it be nice? China is really making huge advancements. They are electrifying the transport industry, which is a big part of the demand for fossil fuels. China's oil peaked in 2023, I think. Yeah. We're fighting the last war. And what drives me crazy is that he was like, renewables are good, but we need to build this pipeline so we can pay for renewables. And I am losing my goddamn mind. I'm like, guys, the renewables is the thing now. Renewables is the new... We gotta get a seat at the table. I don't know what we're doing, man. This is fucking nuts.
It'll all be fine when we sell all of our oil and gas to, what's that? China? Oh no.
Not Canada.
Yeah, this is what we're saying. Don't get me wrong. Everything you said about China is very accurate. Their emissions are still going up. Whereas Canada's have come down, China's have grown. Now, a huge part of that is it's an economy that was starting so much later. So it's kind of a ridiculous comparison. You're not comparing.
Well, they had to finish that wall.
Jesus. Yeah, that and overcoming centuries of colonialization and invasion by the Japanese, but mostly the wall.
Mostly the wall. Good job, Ian.
I'm
South
helping.
China.
But no, it's a country that industrialized way later than the Western world, so its emissions are not on the same scale in terms of or cycle, I should say, as us. So it is everyone, every time you make a climate change argument in Canada, I feel like someone goes, well, China's and India's are so much higher percentage of the global emissions, and their emissions are going up, so what's even the point? It's like, but they are doing all the things to curb their emissions. It just hasn't taken the hold yet.
And someone also had a great point. Fuck, I wish I could remember their name. It was one of those things where it's like, yeah, why don't you guys make your own iPhones and see what happens to your emissions? Because if we send all our stuff over there, hey, could you make this? Bad, shame. It's just crazy pants.
Yeah, it's the same with the oil, which we've been sending to the U.S. to refine, which produces a huge amount of emissions, and we're like, not our problem.
What does? La 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 la.
Can you believe America, you guys?
I will definitely say I think Smith came out ahead on this, absolutely, for sure. Because right now the MOU, which I think is an economic term for MOU, is just a messaging bill. Like, all it is she gets all the benefits of announcing, hey, I beat Ottawa and got a pipeline. Mm-hmm. And then if it doesn't actually work, she's like, hey, it's Ottawa's fault we don't have a pipeline. It's win-win for her. And Carney, unfortunately, didn't run on this. He ran on I'm going to save Canada from Trump. Don't ask me how, please.
And also, I'm not going to fuck up the environment.
Yeah, that was the implicit promise. He was like, hey, progressives, please vote for me. I'm not Pierre Poilievre.
Implicit.
Wink.
That's how he gets you.
That's it. That's that's that sneaky economic thing of implicit promises. But he didn't really run on this, and now he kind of has to wear it.
Well, let me play the Carney defender then. So the counter to that would be, Canada has created this so that in order to get the pipeline, they have to do the carbon pricing first. They have to make the deals on the carbon capture, and they have to essentially negotiate everything with the First Nations. So isn't it pretty easy for Carney to say, you didn't do those things, therefore it's not my fault, no pipeline?
I already fell asleep while you were asking that question because I think it's too detailed for people to really give a shit about.
Well, it's just one has to come before the other. I don't think that's that detailed.
Oh, for sure. But I also think if Carney says, Carney ran on, I'm going to get things done for Canada. And if things don't get done for Canada, that's bad for him. Mm-hmm. And I think Danielle Smith she's the Joker, a chaos agent in all of this. No one's going to put it on her. So I think he's going to have to wear it. And he could go out there and say, I'm doing this because of Trump, everyone. Please chillax. But he also doesn't want to say Trump's name out loud because he's he who must not be named right now.
Yeah.
And also, Danielle got kind of immediate support from Pierre Poilievre's party when this was announced, where he was basically like, sure, he's promising a pipeline, but he's not doing enough. I'm going to get more barriers out of the way. So I feel like that's something that she could also probably use
Absolutely.
as ammunition.
Yeah, although if you're waiting for Poilievre to get in.
I am not.
No,
I'm not.
I mean, if you're Danielle Smith waiting for Poilievre to get in,
But
you might be ousted way before he gets in.
Sure, but just bringing it up in the context of the Conservative Party issuing these kind of statements, I think, is something that she's probably very happy about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. And I'm sure she is happy to screw Carney over 8 ways from Sunday if it'll help the Conservatives even gain a point in the polls. To me, the bigger concern is, if let's say they put in place this climate regime, Alberta does, and then so you go ahead and you start breaking ground on the pipeline. The second they get what they want, don't they immediately just not follow the rules anymore?
Yeah.
Because it's that's the point where it's well, they signed an agreement. They can't not follow them. And I'm like, that's so 1990s level, thinking once you sign a contract, it's binding, man. And it's just that's just not how politics works anymore. By the time we're in this scenario where a pipeline is getting built, it won't be Smith anymore. It'll be some even worse person and they'll just
it won't be Carney, that's for sure.
Yeah, and they'll just rip it up and go haha, we got a pipeline. We don't give a shit about this industrial pricing anymore. Or they'll make up some bullshit excuse and just do away with the whole thing. So the idea that because you got Smith to sign a commitment to industrial carbon pricing and thinking that Alberta will always be beholden to that are to me completely different things.
It doesn't sound like Canada to me to break a treaty with the First Nations out in BC. That really doesn't sound like us.
No, I mean, history started 5 seconds ago, so I can't think of it. And the other downside for Carney is, of course, immediately, and we all joked that she probably knew about it in advance, immediately Elizabeth May comes out and says she won't support the government anymore on confidence votes.
Yeah.
Or she won't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
And so now you are, unless you're going to put forward legislation that the Bloc and the NDP which Carney seems to have no interest in doing, you are almost entirely dependent on the Conservative Party to keep you in power, assuming you don't want an election. and which maybe Carney does. But like, assuming you want to actually stay in office and fulfill your mandate, you have now lost a pretty important vote and said to progressives, we're probably not your guys, so progressives won't vote for you. So you're fully dependent on either the NDP or the Conservatives determining we don't want an election right now enough to abstain from voting. And that will only be the case for as long as you're strong in the polls. The second the polls turn against you even a little bit, the Conservatives will be like, election please, let's do it, the way they were for the entire last 2-3 years of Trudeau's regime. So that's a huge risk to be like, we're relying on staying strong in the polls either long enough to stay in power or, toppling the government before the polls turn against us.
Because like Carney's strong in the polls a bit. Like he's not that strong.
No, Poilievre is that weak, but Carney is not that strong. Like if you look at the preferred leader polling, it's like, oh my God, Carney trounces Poilievre. But it's like if you look at the actual like who are you going to vote for, Conservative, Liberal, NDP, Bloc, etc. It's like you're up like between 3 and 4 points. Like that can change in one election campaign. That can change in 1 week of an election campaign.
Or like one leadership review of the Conservative leader in January.
But I don't think that's happening.
I was literally about to be like, I feel like his whole strategy is like, who else you got? Who else you gonna vote for? Go ahead. Who else? But if they fix that in Januanary, that could be a problem for him.
Yeah, I feel like they'll rustle up someone.
Who?
You think Poilievre's going?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying if he did, I don't think that they would have a problem putting forth and finding a guy. Because I basically like, he can just be a white dude in a suit, as long as he's not Poilievre.
Yeah, that's what Carney was.
Exactly.
He just wasn't Trudeau.
Exactly. So like, no, do I think he's going? No, but if he does, I don't think they're going to have a problem finding his replacement.
Yeah, so we should start giving money to Poilievre, sort of help him over the hump, because we need him in place, right? In January.
Where do you think the Patreon money's been going this whole time? Just Poilievre donations.
This goes against everything that I stand for.
Our clips about him do very well on TikTok, so...
Yeah, by the way, guys, I can't pay you this month. It's all going to Poilievre.
I was sending the money there anyway, so it's fine. Let's just directly send it there.
That's why we've got this extra empty seat. We keep one for him.
Well, speaking of the other backlash that Carney faced, it happened almost immediately, but his Minister of Culture, Stephen Guilbeault, who was most famously Trudeau's Minister of the Environment and Climate Change, resigned from cabinet. Guilbeault said it wasn't entirely about the MOU. The MOU was the final straw, and I think on a very popular Quebec show, Tout le monde en parle, he came out and said that essentially, the climate regulations and framework that he developed over many years with the Trudeau government had basically all been stripped away, which is a similar point that Chantal Hébert was making. Do you think Carney was genuinely surprised, I should say, by someone acting on principle and not just like being cravenly self-interested and wanting to stay in cabinet?
I mean, to be fair, I was surprised. Someone acted on principle. Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, bold of you to assume that anybody in power knows what principles are, Luke.
See, Guilbeault should have broken up with him in a spreadsheet. Then Carney would get it.
In a bank statement.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of his visa statement. By the way, I quit.
Carney's like, "What?"
I feel like Carney's reaction just being like, but this isn't financially. You're going to make less money. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you leave cabinet? You get paid way more to be in cabinet.
Bank, 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 bank.
The thing I will say is nuts is like if you look at the votes of Canadians or the polling overall, like Canadians are very in favor of this pipeline.
For sure.
It polls at like 70%. So in a sense, I get what Carney's doing. It makes sense. I don't want a pipeline. I like the environment to exist. But I get what he's doing. That said, he's not going out there and being like, hey guys, I'm building a pipeline. He's not owning it. He's weirdly running away from it. And I don't get what he thinks is going to happen down the road.
Well, I will, again, I feel like weirdly I'm Carney defending. I think that's very smart because people want a pipeline in abstract.
Right.
And then when it's the nitty gritty of, hey, there's indigenous blockade and, people are getting hit and the RCMP is cracking skulls to clear the road for the pipeline and it's costing $10 billion more than we thought it was going to and it's taken 10 years longer than we thought it was going to. And now, as Nile just said, there's no demand for this oil anyways. I think trying to not own the pipeline is a very smart move. Now, again, this is so far down the road, so maybe who cares? Because no one in power right now is going to be in power when all those things are happening, if they are happening. But at the same time, I think an oil pipeline is not something you want your name on to live in infamy.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, no, maybe that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just putting it more on Danielle Smith at that point.
Yeah, which in fairness, she wants to wear it, so let her wear it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? and it's very different constituents, right? She has to only appeal to a province where you said 70% of Canada. It's like 95% probably in Alberta then. So it's one of those things where it's like, very different constituents to support. And, Carney has to be more, even bleeding 5-10% of those 30% who don't want a pipeline to the NDP is the difference between government and opposition potentially to the Conservatives. So it's weird math. The defense of Carney is he's creating this Big Tent party that captures the whole middle, left and right. And the argument is sometimes you try and make a big tent, you end up just bleeding off, the edges and end up being a party of no one. So that's the Guilbeault side of things. I mean, I can see why he felt like he had no place in it when the current Minister of Energy, Hodgson, when asked why he hadn't met with Indigenous communities prior to signing this MOU, he offered to meet with them on like a day's notice outside of Vancouver, I believe. The coastal BC,
somewhere.
He's like, I'll swing by for 5 minutes. We'll chat it up.
Text them. Just put them all on a text thread. Hey, what are you guys doing right now?
Basically, that's what
this environmental fuckboy then doesn't show up at the last second.
I want that to be a superhero environmental fuckboy.
Texting like you up the night before.
I mean, that's basically what happened, because when he was asked why, when they said they couldn't meet on a day's notice, he didn't, rearrange his schedule. He was like, it's called Zoom, and we could have met on Zoom. And it's like, I think that's what we're on right now, because he was being interviewed by the CBC. And it was like, okay, you fucking smarmy piece of shit. If that's the energy, and he's like Carney's guy, right? So if that's the energy that the Carney, regime is going to have towards people they need to collaborate with, it's going to be a bumpy ride trying to get a pipeline built, let alone do anything.
And that's why I guess your supposition of maybe he doesn't actually intend for this to ever get built at all and wants his name nowhere near it has to be the thing to me, because it's like Carney kind of ran on I'm the guy who can get everyone on the same page and get stuff done. And it turns out his answer is I give Alberta everything they want and don't talk to anybody else ever. And that seems like a bad plan to me.
Yeah, it's also like I can get stuff done as long as everyone does what I say.
Yeah, exactly.
And doesn't disagree with me at all. Any civil servant, who has to who dares to show up in the office without a crisp 3-piece suit on, gets immediately sent to the punishment corner.
There were articles when he was running for prime minister talking about how difficult he was to work with and collaborate with. Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny that before Pierre Poilievre was the guy whose entire campaign was dependent on Trump, and now it's Carney.
Yeah.
Because if Trump disappears, then we're gonna be like, okay, who the fuck is this guy, and what's his problem? What the fuck? What'd you just say to me?
What, you mean we don't like this stern banker? He's not really charismatic or nice?
All right, let's look at his actual policy. What are you doing?
We'll see who says I miss Trudeau first.
It's like we're waking up from a one-night stand, being like, wait, what did we do? But it's been 6 months.
What was your name? Mark?
Oh, you're a banker? Fuck. I gotta stop drinking tequila.
In the finance district.
I mean, I went to Canoe and everything went from there.
Hey, Poilievre used to go to my restaurant all the time in the finance district, so...
Oh, was he cool? I bet he was super cool.
No, he took pictures with all of the finance, the worst bros, and tried to talk to the lounge girls about politics.
Also, wait, Clare owns a restaurant in the financial district?
Surprise, I'm actually super rich.
Oh, son of a...
Yeah, I'm just doing undercover work.
You're embedded.
Well, to the point about earlier, we were talking about how Smith doesn't really have to worry about the things Carney has to worry about. Turns out she actually does have a bit of a problem, because she faced her own backlash at the UCP convention, the United Conservative Party, where she was loudly booed for kind of celebrating that she was working with Carney in Canada to get a pipeline built. A subsequent speaker was speaking to her, was doing Q&A, but he called for the separation of Alberta from Canada and said the UCP is a separatist party, and the room stood up and applauded. So has Danielle Smith started a fire she can't put out?
No, that's the oil industry's job.
All I can think of is that David Bowie song that goes putting out fire with gasoline. And I was like, that's what she's going to do.
Yes.
But no, I just like how the party has to find something to complain about. They're never going to be satisfied. We've talked about this before. If they weren't mad, they got their pipeline, so they can't be mad that they don't have their pipeline. So now that they're mad that, she agreed with Carney about raising the carbon pricing. And if that hadn't happened, then, yeah, it's just one thing after another.
But it's kind of that same thing with Carney talking to all the environmentalists who like held their nose and voted for him and being like, oh no, but I didn't actually mean that. And now she has to go at all the separatists and be like, oh baby, no, that I was making that up.
Yeah. You were a tool.
Yes.
A tool that I used for my benefit.
Yeah, you get that, right?
Yeah. You knew. Didn't we have that conversation? Oh, I forgot to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
I made a Zoom meeting. You didn't show up.
Because like all these separatist idiots out there who are like, but we meant it. And it's like, yeah, but no one took you seriously at all, ever.
So many morning afters, you guys. Oh, baby, come on.
And now that there's a petition that has been verified by a judge that's like Keep Alberta Together petition, and it's just gotten like the thumbs up that it's an actual thing.
Yes.
I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, so interestingly, the first
how do I stop
referendum on Alberta independence is going to be a
Yeah.
you mean
federalism.
The referendums they made way easier as a political
Yeah.
tool? Great. Love it.
Yeah. Now,
Love
I don't
that for
know.
them.
We don't know if it's going to go to a province-wide vote. First, it goes to the legislature, and they can decide whether they vote on it or whether they kick the can over to the people. And I don't know if there's tools or tricks they can use to kind of bury the thing. But fascinatingly, the other referendum, the we want to separate referendum, that's mired in bullshit with the courts. So this referendum got all the signatures that is flying through. So it's an interesting thing that it's like it's like they went out and kind of like snuck in ahead of the referendum, the separatist people, and got their ballot on their issue on the ballot first. So
By their
kudos to
own
them.
petard.
Yeah, exactly. But it seems like the thing about yes, Danielle Smith was always using the separatists and was using the extreme right wing in Alberta. But the problem is, and again, the way the UCP works, like she could very easily have the same thing happen to her that she did to Kenny. And then you're just in this never-ending cycle of crazier and crazier people getting put in power by the UCP, and presumably by Alberta voters by extension. And so it's just like every few years you just get an even more lunatic who then gets eaten by the lunatic fringe, and then another even more lunatic who gets eaten by the lunatic fringe, and on and on and on the cycle goes until I think like the entire country is just governed by an oil drum with a gun.
I was just going to say an oil drum. Yeah.
Entire province, excuse me, but yeah.
With googly eyes in the front.
So, well, that's the thing they got to worry about is that, like, the way UCP can replace leaders pretty easy, and Kenny found that out the hard way, and now Smith, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a chance Smith does too for daring to work with Canada to get something Alberta wants.
How dare you work with the country we're in?
Yeah. But we don't want to be.
I feel like that's so emblematic of politics, where it's just like we want our party to be our party and not have to concede to any other party, and we're always mad that they're working with each other. And on one hand, I understand the sentiment behind that. We're like, oh man, how could we work with the Conservatives to do something? But it's just like, that's literally just politics. That's how politics works. I'm so sorry.
I feel like it's also kind of life. Like you
Yeah.
gotta give a little, get a little. Am I wrong there?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you want to be an absolute purist who's like, I think I made this joke last week, and it's a joke that's been made many times of like, you want your characters to turn to camera and say, I'm the same kind of communist as you directly to screen, or else you don't like anyone. Like that is one of those things that just, you're going to be eternally disappointed by everyone. And we're seeing it in New York now with people already turning on Mamdani.
Yeah.
For
like
Who's
going
not
to-
even actually mayor yet?
Who's not even married yet, but because of some of the people he's put on his advisory committee, they're like, such and such is a landlord and such. And like, I'm not saying there aren't, you can't, if a politician says one thing to get elected and does the opposite in office, absolutely. Sure. You can feel outraged, you can be offended, especially if you help get them elected. But the idea that no politician should ever compromise or work with people on the other side or even slightly to the left or right of them is insane and is just asking to be eternally disappointed.
It's weird. It's like magical thinking. Like they're supposed to just manifest change. Like
I know.
What do you want to do? Ugh.
Like he went and shook hands, like he went and talked to Trump, and it's like, what did you want him to do? Just like burst into the White House and shoot him? Like the man is your boss. Like it sucks. But
He's not his boss.
Well, but like
that's
he's at the
people
top
of
of the
New York, Claire.
Oh my god.
Point taken. Don't get me wrong. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
He's the highest office in the land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant.
And
so, like, he has to go, and he got the man to admit that he's a fascist in front of him. I mean, like...
That was a pretty good trick.
What
And to wear
more
that
do they
stylish
want?
scarf and coat, just like Mamdani.
I know.
And for some
Oh my
reason,
God,
Trump wanted to
yes.
sit while Mamdani towered over him.
Yeah.
Interesting
He's
choices
such
all
a-
Yeah, it's almost like
Duck.
that guy can't stand up anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost.
But you would think they would make Mamdani sit too. Anyways, whatever. Well, let's turn to Trump and the U.S. specifically. which, we've talked about this on the show before, but they have been the U.S. under Trump and Secretary of War, really defense, they can't legally change the name, but they pretend they have. Pete Hegseth has been carrying out extrajudicial assassinations of people in boats near the coast of Venezuela or just South America as a whole, accusing them of being drug dealers. This was already incredibly illegal, but now the Washington Post is reporting that Pete Hegseth ordered a second strike to kill survivors of an initial strike. Hegseth reportedly said, "Kill everybody."
So the guy thinks he's fucking John Wick, double tapping them to make sure they're down.
Yeah, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head.
Yeah.
He didn't have the balls to do it himself.
Yeah.
Oh, no. He was in the makeup chair getting
exactly.
Fox News ready.
Yeah, at best he's the guy who talks about guns the way you talk about wines in the movie. A fine Brazilian, sir.
May I present you with this Venezuelan boat?
Although all Pete Hegseth does is talk about alcohol, so you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ. Anyways, yeah. So is there can we defend this in any way? I'm genuinely trying to think of the defense of we just murder people near the coast of Venezuela now because we say they're smugglers, even though we have no evidence that they are.
I think I got this.
All right.
Okay. Clearly, this attack had to happen on these drug smugglers because obviously this decision was made while on cocaine. And so you need to get the cocaine out of the American government. How else can you do that? Kill the drug smugglers. Right? It's slightly circular, but don't think about it too much.
That's better than anything I came up with, and I thought pretty hard about it.
Yeah, we got to get the coke out of the government and into the hands of the people.
It's just wider.
I'm just freestyling, man.
It's trickle-down cocainomics.
Also, can we give him credit for not adding to Jon Stewart to a text thread about the attack? Can we at least acknowledge that he's getting
He's
better?
making progress.
Good job.
Think how many murders he'll be able to get away with a few years from now.
Okay, I think if I'm trying to get into Hegseth's head, first I need a couple shots of vodka. But secondly, I feel like I really want Venezuelan oil, and the more potentially innocent people I kill, the less people talk about how my boss is in the Epstein files.
I mean, in terms of looking for a smokescreen distraction, straight up murder is pretty good.
Exactly.
Well, wait.
It's also very charitable of you to ascribe that much forethought to Pete Hegseth. He can think about that many big picture ideas.
Yeah, well.
I mean, this is pre-happy hour.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's okay to make fun of him for his problems if he's a really bad person, guys. He's a really bad person.
All right. I gave this some thought, too. I can get into this thought experiment. Okay, the pro-murder argument is guns are rad and blowing shit up is cool. Also, girls scare me. Also, in this thought exercise, I'm a 13-year-old boy. Just bombs are neat.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, all very good arguments. Well done, all of you.
These are all solid.
Spread the cocaine well.
I think we got it. I think we nailed it.
You guys did all better than me. I was just was literally scratching my head being cruelty? All I can think of was cruelty is the point, which I know is a point that's been made many times.
Oil.
Cruelty and oil.
I think you're the closest, actually.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it.
Oh yeah, we can't justify it morally, but you can justify it in their heads.
Yeah, I mean, it is the thing we're all kind of not dancing around, but haven't directly said is that it obviously is a setup for some kind of declaration of war.
Yeah.
Trump has made a Truth Social post about how he's closing the air over Venezuela. Obviously, there's these incursions. What I assume they're going for is 1, oil for sure, 2, the hope of a kind of rally around the flag surge in popularity. But that seems so remote because everyone's so, unless they're going to throw up a false flag at the perfect moment and accuse Venezuela of some, terrorist attack or something, I guess, are they trying to create a situation where they increase popularity through war, which generally works in the U.S., or are they just so sure they're going to be able to stay in power after Trump's term is done through, illegal means that they don't care what people think it is?
Yeah, it's called Project 2026.
Yeah.
That's the sequel, and that's the next plan.
I think it's the latter.
Yeah, you think they're just we're seizing power and it's not going to matter that I'm clearly guilty of crimes that I can be prosecuted for under a new government?
I don't know. I don't think you can order, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is me being naive. But I don't think that you can order, kill them all on boats in water and not know that you're committing crimes. I feel like once you make that decision, it's just you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Well, they understand that the Supreme Court will ultimately back them up on it.
Yeah.
Or rather, 6 members of the Supreme Court will ultimately back them up on it.
Because then they'll pin it back on Trump, and Trump can't be prosecuted. The Supreme Court earlier this year basically said you can't be charged with a crime while you're in office. So if it gets to that point, They'll just be like, no, I did it.
Yeah.
You can't prosecute me.
Yeah, or if it's Vance or whoever follows Trump when to quote Megan, the thing happens, obviously you can just presidential pardon, right? So I mean that's as long as their side's in power, they're untouchable.
Yeah.
And if they've convinced themselves or are right that their side will never not be in power, then they're untouchable. But
I mean, there's also a fair argument for if their side's ever not in power, the Democrats won't do anything about it because they never do.
And that's true.
They'll try and unite the country, and they'll be like, "Meh, what's a few war crimes? Let's overlook it for unity."
And then they do a choreographed TikTok dance.
Oh, God. Chuck Schumer just doing the worm or whatever.
yeah, I mean, I guess to your point, all you need for evidence to back up that claim is look at all the Democrats who went to Dick Cheney's funeral. And fair point. When the criticism started to mount on Hegseth, he took to Twitter, as he so often does, and shared a meme celebrating his actions. Do you know what Canadian literary character he used to celebrate the extrajudicial murders?
Oh, it was Anna Green Gables.
Oh, that's what I had. It was the episode where she goes down to Maine to do some wet work. It was fucking nuts. Just 2 hours. She does camo and makeup. It's very disturbing.
I was gonna say Dr. Seuss, and I just because I could just see I wrote down a little poem of Dr. Seuss, rewritten by Pete Hegseth,
Please.
and it's just a person's a person no matter how small, unless they're not white, in which case kill them all.
Whoa, well done.
It's his new book.
I love it. I do have to break the news that Dr. Seuss is not Canadian. I'm so
God
sorry.
damn
I
it!
was wondering.
so sorry.
I missed the Canadian.
Are we sure that's confirmed? That's confirmed?
Oh,
Are we
I
sure?
missed the Canadian
Are we
part of
positive?
This
it.
isn't the quiz. There's no meaningless points, though.
He's
so it's
Canadian now in my heart.
He wore a Canada flag on
Canadian?
his backpack when he traveled, though, so people would think he was Canadian.
Great.
It was Franklin the Turtle. He posted an image where it was a book cover. Franklin targets narco terrorists, where Franklin is in a helicopter shooting RPGs at boats laden with drugs. I'm assuming someone made that or sent that to him and it was already out there.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine Pete Hegseth reads to his children.
I'm so
there's
glad
no way
we
he knows
have-
who Franklin is.
I'm so glad we have generative AI. It's such a useful thing that benefits the
They're
world.
just children. All of them. God.
Yeah, but not like the good children who read Franklin, like the mean kids. The mean kids who beat us up.
Which Franklin book?
You know what? I confess I don't know much about Franklin.
I also don't know.
It's the Franklin where he does drugs.
I'd expect that kind of behavior out of Caillou, but not Franklin.
No, Caillou absolutely becomes some sort of terrorist or dictator or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, anyway, so that happened, and it's just a fact, and we just need to live with that. But when things got a little bit like clearly this is dicey, and in a scenario where there isn't a right-wing government in power, he's in trouble. He put out a statement where he simultaneously defended the actions and completely passed the buck on to the admiral who actually carried out his orders and said, basically was like, I completely support Admiral, I think it was Bradley, Admiral Bradley for carrying out these actions that he did and not me, and that he fired and said the second tap, double kill, and I completely support him as long as it's not illegal. I support that guy who did this thing. And it's the most, and I gotta give Hegseth credit, it is the most artful I'm championing something and being like, this guy did it, get him, I've ever seen. It was pretty funny.
I was watching a legal video about that actually just today about like who would take the blame in this kind of scenario, and the lawyer was basically like, yeah, it's going to be really hard for these like if he does blame the soldiers, it's going to be really hard for them to not take the fall for it.
Yeah, I mean,
I was surprised at how vehement he was about that.
Yeah, well, there is pretty good precedent on just following orders doesn't actually work out well in a criminal defense.
Well, no, because you're like as a soldier, you legally have to deny illegal orders.
Which was Mark Kelly's whole thing that now the right is losing their shit about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But usually in that case, the guy giving the orders gets in trouble too. And it seems like they're setting that up to not happen at all.
Well, that was kind of his point, and I can't summarize the whole thing, but it was more just like it would be more on the person who fired the gun than it would be on the person who ordered them to do it.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah, I mean, dream scenario, it's, Goering takes a pill and goes night-night in Nuremberg, but sometimes Goering gets away. Sometimes it's more of a Mengele situation. Google Brazilian twins. What am I going to do? You guys know that urban legend, right? Anyways, doesn't matter. There's a lot to unpack there. Anyways, let's swivel back home and talk about Quebec doing racism disguised as secularism some more. The CAQ, which is currently, I think, polling in like single digits, has dusted off their old blame minorities playbook. Actually, they've turned it so regularly there wasn't enough time for it to gather dust. But anyways, the new legislation that is making its way through the National Assembly would say as follows. You can't pray in public. Daycare workers can't wear the hijab or the niqab, even if they're working out of their own home. Public institutions like hospitals can't only offer kosher or halal meals. No public funding for religious private schools. That one I actually agree with.
Yeah, me too.
Students in public education can't have their face covered. No prayer rooms on university campuses.
No more priests with their pants falling down and just for laughs gags.
No, that got a special exemption. That's,
okay.
You got to read the 14.1.
It's part of their heritage.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a secular pair of bunnies.
And it's not just for less gags. Thanks.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going to, as you said, just for less gags. Anyways, and then just to be clear on the public prayers, the reason why this is happening, for those who don't know, is that many of the protests over the genocide in Gaza have involved the Muslim call to prayer. So this is seen as a attack on those and a way to stop those protests from happening. There's also, I think, legislation in there that's similar to what Toronto and other municipalities have done about keeping protests away from the synagogue, which ordinarily I would completely agree with, unless that synagogue is carrying out illegal land transactions in the West Bank, for example. But people seem to ignore that little caveat when they just say they're protesting outside the synagogues.
They do ignore that.
Naturally, the bill pre-invokes the notwithstanding clause, so they don't give a shit if it's not constitutional.
The hottest trend of 2025. That notwithstanding clause is all over the place.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems to me that like Quebec, was through the 50s famously this kind of like rural, agrarian, very poor, Francophone place dominated by the Anglophone elites. And then the Quiet Revolution happens, they break out, they become a modern, secular society, and now they've pursued secularism so far that they've looped back around and are ending up exactly where they were in the 50s, where if you weren't Catholic, you can shut the fuck up and be quiet because no one wants to hear from you.
I mean, why stop there? Let's bring back polio.
Alberta's working on that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Give him time.
Yeah, don't get in their lane. Excuse me, we had that.
Yeah.
We are the polio province.
Yeah. What other fun 50s things can we bring back?
I mean, threat of the bomb.
Oh, great.
Also working on that.
Like a Patriot missile striking Parliament, as Ian
I think I read that in
foretold.
Time somewhere.
Yeah.
Guys, I can only start so many international incidents. This is so many hours in the day. We'll bring healthcare and education back under the purview of the Catholic Church. What could go wrong in Quebec? Bringing it back to the 50s. That's brutal.
Yeah, and sorry, now go ahead.
Yeah, but also you could probably generate a lot of money, right? Because if ever you're you're strapped for cash, you park a few cops in an ICU, boom. Did you just pray? Boom, ticket, cash. That's how you fund your infrastructure.
I thought you
Yeah,
were
for
like
the
the
prayer.
positive one of the
I
group.
am.
Jesus.
That was positive if you think about it. From a
Positive cash
if you were
flow.
Mark Carney and you're thinking about a cash flow statement.
I don't want to think in Mark Carney's brain. That makes
if
me
we're
feel bad.
legalizing prayer, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know what the fine or penalty will be, but you're right. It is a potentially. Forget about speed cameras.
$1,200 is what I read.
Oh, God. Yeah, who needs speed cameras when you can
Ka-ching.
just bust 100 people at a time
Yeah.
for
Oh
praying in
my
public?
God.
Or we'll send her to like a
Hospitals.
sports game, like an Alouettes game or something like that.
yes.
And people are like praying, like, please,
Don't
please,
do it.
let them make this
God.
touchdown goal.
Yeah.
I forget what the
They
Alouettes are.
would have solved our country's economic woes in Game 7 of the World Series.
Where was God then?
He was dead.
Apparently in Los Angeles, in the owner's box, from what I understand.
I mean, the guy's richer than God, so it works out.
I love how in Toronto we didn't riot after losing Game 7. It was just the downtown was flooded with nihilism.
It was quiet silence and despair.
Quiet silence is the worst.
Oh, yeah. There's a loud silence.
By the way, nihilism would be a great name for your bad news podcast.
I'm working on it.
Yep.
I'll have a bizarro world Nile. I get like a little goatee going.
Yeah, I mean, like the move. Obviously, this is, and by the way, I'm cribbing some of this info from a very good Substack that people subscribe to by Nora Loretto, and so check her out. Her writings on Quebec, but and she's a Quebec local, so she understands it far better than me. But it seems like this is obviously a flailing government that is desperately trying to cling to power. And so it's like, well, good news. There's less than a year to an election left. They're going to lose badly, and we're going to say, au revoir, le go, and all that stuff. And yay, except the likely successors, the Parti Québécois, is worse on this stuff. They're going to go even further.
God damn it.
And so it's like, and the Parti Québécois, like, again, I'm not saying he's a hero in Canada because obviously he was a separatist, but René Lévesque, the champion of this kind of the Quiet Revolution and then beyond, along with Pierre Trudeau and others, he, obviously he took it further with separation. His goal was a Quebec built on language, obviously, but not this ethno-nationalistic, you have to be, Francophone blood, and you got to be back, you got to have come to Quebec with Champlain, and if you didn't come with him, then you're not a real Quebecer, and, these immigrants, they don't understand us, blah, blah, blah. Like this kind of like creepy ethno-nationalistic version of Quebec identity it seems to have taken over that kind of pro-Quebec sentiment, and it's really just starting to see because like Quebec obviously has so much going for it as a province. Like everyone raves about it in so many ways: healthcare, education, et cetera, but this constant need to other everyone who isn't an old stock francophone is going to just completely get them in the end, the same way the independence movement drove out all the capital to Toronto and made Toronto the financial capital of Canada. And it just seems so short-sighted to me, but it's clearly where the vote is in Quebec because the two major parties, the CAQ and the PQ, are for it.
Yeah, the hypocrisy of railing against, they call them like radical Islamists, and like they're people who are going to come in and force their values on people. The hypocrisy of that, to go around and then force your values on people who don't dress like you. That's just, something I want to point out.
If you're going to force your values on someone, at least do it in both official languages.
Exactly.
No. Only one official language.
Except only the one we care about. Yes.
There's only one official language in Quebec.
Fair enough
to know that. But like at some point they're going to run out of ways to blame the Muslims, and then they're going to, I guess, have to pick a new religion to go after. Like these Quakers have had it too good for too long. No more wearing religious symbols while you make oatmeal. I don't give a shit. Get out of here, Quakers.
Too many buckles.
I don't care for the hats. They're gone.
Do we know anything about Quakers? Are we just making that up?
I'm going by the oatmeal label.
Same.
Very clearly going by the oatmeal label.
Yeah. Great victim. What are they going to do? Come at us, Quakers.
We've lost our Quaker listenership.
I think Quakers were pretty badass in the day, like protesting and stuff like that. I don't think I'd want to say "come at me, Quakers."
They're just famously nonviolent and pacifists. But they were huge in the civil rights movement and things like that. Yeah. Also, weirdly, Nixon was a Quaker, but he did not follow their tenets whatsoever.
Yeah.
That was, I think, but he was born a Quaker. I don't think he followed it.
I love oatmeal. That's it, right?
Buckles.
That's it, right?
Money in the Quaker vote. Anyways, so that's the situation in Quebec, and I mean, obviously this law is going to pass. There's nothing the courts can do. They've already invoked Section 33, and it's just the hope would be that, the Quebec Liberal Party, which is traditionally the counter and much more pluralistic and welcoming party, gets going, but they're embroiled in crises after crises and can't seem to get their head out of their ass. So in all likelihood, even if this doesn't pass under the CAQ, a worse version will just pass under the PQ. Mm-hmm. And at some point you're going to see a huge brain drain because obviously like a ton of, the educated classes are people from non-traditional Quebec groups, immigrants or second generation or third generation immigrants. And, at some point, how long do you I'm sure a lot have already left, but at some point, how long do you put up with just being hated by your own province and your provincial government that you stick around when you could just leave to another province or another country?
With less intense winters. It's you're really in your own end zone right now, buddy.
Yeah. Even going from Montreal to Toronto is a way easier winter to survive.
Yeah, I was going to say Montreal's cool, but it's not that cool.
99-cent pizza is great,
cool.
but
yeah, that's true.
Oh, the poutine though.
The poutine. Well, before we move in for our big closer, let's take a second to message to you, the listener. First of all, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for checking out the show. If you would be so kind, please jump on your app of choice, leave 5 stars, leave a review, tell your friends, share our clips, do whatever you can to help us spread the word of the podcast because we want to grow this thing even bigger and better than it already is. If you're inclined to support us monetarily, you can do so over at patreon.com/thebeaverton. You will not only get to know you're keeping our website alive, keeping our podcast going, you also get an extended version of our podcast every week where we talk about a story we didn't cover in the regular spoiler episode. This week we dove into the saga that is Ryan James' wedding, the cocaine king of Canada, and Sinaloa cartel member. And if that sounds intriguing, check it out.
Second place snowboarder.
21st in the Olympics, but who's counting?
Oh, not even close. Never mind.
He did not medal in the Olympics, but he did go to the Olympics. So yeah, check that out at patreon.com/thebeaverton. And if you're a Patreon member listening to this, thank you so much for subscribing. We owe our entire existence to you. And Ian, do you have a couple shows you want to do?
Yeah, totally. We got some new Patreon followers right now. We got Glenn, Matthew Halsall, and DKT, which I can only assume stands for Donkey Kong Territory. We've also got some of our OG Patreon supporters. We've got Josh Newman, Rob Cottingham, which is just the most British name I've ever heard and is outstanding. And then also someone goes under Resta Unique, which I am just full of questions about that very cool name. I want to know more. We also got some cool comments on the Patreon. Don Kemble said, as a witch, I am a big fan of bogging Saskatchewan. We need more bogs in this country.
Hell yes.
Glad to hear you support it. Oh, and then Gregory Craig pointed out the part about the EVs having a worse carbon footprint is actually wrong. And then went out to really succinctly explain it, but I didn't copy it all down.
Oh, I didn't say to not to counter this guy, but I didn't say they have the worst carbon footprint. I just said they're not as good as their marketing materials.
So Luke hates Gregory Craig and says that he's incorrect. Go to our Patreon, join up so you can see the feud play out. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to get into it in these comments. All right, and now it is time for the approximately 10-minute long quiz.
It's the approximately 10-minute long quiz. Brought to you by Time.
Every week, I ask our panel to play the approximately 10-minute long quiz, where I put their knowledge of some less widely reported news stories to the test. Panel, our first question. The NDP had their first leadership race debate this past week in Montreal. It was a French language debate featuring discussion on how to grow the party, champion the working class, and put climate change back on the agenda. There was just one problem. What was it?
Ils ne peuvent pas parler français.
Mais oui, they do not speak French. None of the leaders speak French. They got about as much as I do, which is they can say, mais oui.
Outstanding.
God.
C'était magnifique.
That's insane.
Yeah, none of the five were fluent. According to francophones, most spoke at about an 8th grade level, some worse. Which, look,
I would
don't
like
get
to
wrong.
announce my candidacy for the
I
NDP
know,
party.
right?
What they should have done is just bring in a bunch of servers from restaurants to stand next to them, and every time they try and speak French, the server just goes, and does it for them. Like every time I've tried to go to Quebec.
Oh.
Yeah, my question is for the NDP, you know, like bureaucracy. You knew who was running. Why the fuck did you do a French language debate first? Like, were you just like, hey, before you get excited about any of these guys, we just want to make sure you know they're dead on arrival in our second biggest province?
I mean, the NDP's political instincts are always so razor sharp. How could they have overlooked this?
Okay, we have to consider, are they taking money from the Conservatives?
Who are taking money from our Patreon.
We need to follow the money.
It's just a real circle like the AI bubble in the States. Just money changing hands back and forth in a loop.
Yeah. But it's never going to pop and we'll be fine forever.
Yeah.
Yay.
So points to Clare on that one. Our next question. Food influencers on Instagram and TikTok are obviously a huge way for restaurants to get buzz and people in the door. But why was one prominent New York City food influencer arrested this week after posting about her meal at Mole in Brooklyn?
She was committing a bank robbery while doing a review. These kids and their side hustles.
that.
So much multitasking.
What's up, guys? I'm on the road from the police.
Come with me as I try to rob this bank.
Yeah.
This guy thinks I'm going to kill him. Bye-bye.
Try the tacos.
Yeah, I think the problem is you can't just go posting mole on timeline.
Oh. I was
Really leaned into this I'm Waka Waka character today.
I am usually useless with puns, and that's all that's coming to me tonight. I don't know why. Probably just to bother you, because I know you hate them.
Well, it's like every time you do it, you like look at me like,
Oh, waka waka.
Are you going to groan? Are you going to applaud? What you going to do?
I know what I'm doing.
I'm going to say she got arrested for pronouncing all of the Mexican food names incorrectly.
Ooh.
What is she, the NDP
I'll
in
have
Quebec?
the quesadilla. Ooh.
All excellent guesses. Does anyone know the real story? She is a food influencer famous for dining and dashing while on live stream. So not that far from the banks, honestly. I was tempted to give you the point. She calls herself the Dine and Dash Diva. She has arrived at numerous restaurants, ordered a ton of stuff, taken photos and videos of everything, then left without paying, posting about it all on social media. She has been banned from 7 restaurants and is followed by thousands of people who apparently either support her behavior or just really hoping to watch her get busted on live. She is now in Rikers. So
how's the videos? How are the streams?
Yeah, look forward to a selfie featuring some moldy bread and some stale water.
Oh man,
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's
Getting Rikers.
yeah. So like, I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. Abolish Rikers, it's horrible, but also like, if there was one person to go, I'm okay with a person who's taking money out of the hands of small businesses and restaurants that have a survival rate of like 0.3%.
Oh, God.
Well, speaking of crimes, this is a very crime-heavy podcast.
We are a true crime podcast now, officially.
We've discovered it.
We're committing crimes right now as we speak.
Yeah, we all know pension fraud is a terrible crime, but it turns out it can also be hilarious. What cinematic move did an unemployed man in Italy use to collect his dead mother's pension?
Oh, surely you're talking about the popular Italian comedy film series Big Nono's House.
Oh, that's just that. Okay, just saying.
That's all I got.
Just saying
like
a reference to a movie. How would that get his pension?
Oh, you get like a wig and a fat suit and like a pot of pasta, and you got yourself a pension check.
Like we all had the same thought, right?
Oh, yeah,
Big
Mrs.
Notice House,
Doubtfire?
Mrs. Doubtfire, whatever.
Yeah.
It is
that
absolutely a Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
So I'll give a point to Nile on that, who I think was more directly answering the question. He dressed up as her Mrs. Doubtfire style.
Yep.
The man and unemployed, so he'd been collecting the pension for years, but then her like card that they use there, like their SIN card, expired, so he had to go in person to renew it. And so he showed up in a 1970s blouse and pearl necklace, lipstick, and a wig and everything. If you look at the photos, he did a pretty decent job, especially considering he did not have Harvey Firestein helping him, which is a Mrs. Doubtfire reference. Apparently, the giveaway was when the staff noticed the skin on his hands looking a bit too fresh and taut for an 85-year-old. He was busted and...
Thank you.
Yeah, it is a bit complimentary, isn't it?
Oh,
My God. Thanks
you're
so much.
saying I look young?
He tried that. The police did not find that. He was busted for that and for keeping his mother's mummified corpse in his apartment.
Oh no! So this was more of a Norman Bates thing.
No, he didn't kill her. He just left the corpse. He couldn't bury her because that would
the
give away
part
the
that
game
we're
that she's
thinking
dead.
about.
Yeah, that's
But
not
it's not
what
Norman, yes, Norman Bates didn't kill her. Never mind. I
That's
forgot.
not what we were outraged by.
No.
I'm more outraged by his dead mom in his house. Because traditionally, and maybe we need to search your house, that's not a good thing. Luke, is there anything you want to tell us about?
My mother is alive and well and sounds suspiciously like me.
By the way, my income just went up significantly.
She did work for the government, so that's a good pension right there. Oh, man. Okay, yeah. So 1 point to Nile, 1 point to Claire. Our last question. Cremation canceled after corpse inside coffin was discovered to be...
Already too hot.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Yes!
We're almost done. We will be going out soon. You don't need to keep sending us out.
It's just so many closers, you guys. I refuse to. I forfeit my guess.
Someone tell me the real answer. I'm sure you've all guessed because it's not that... Really?
Oh, discovered to be a Frankenstein. They hate fire.
No one sussed out the real answer?
I was going to say filled with explosives, but he's alive, right? Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Corpse inside coffin was discovered to be alive. I figured that one was pretty easy. What the heck? Usually these questions are too tough. A woman in Thailand was found alive in her coffin at a Buddhist temple. She was saved from organ donation and cremation because her brother didn't have a death certificate. So while they were sorting out the whole death certificate thing, they started hearing a knock coming from inside the coffin.
A knock? That is so polite. Are you crazy? You've been buried? Or you might have been buried alive. and you're
Hello.
like, excuse
Pardon
me.
She was not buried. They were cremating her, so there was no
Oh,
burying.
sorry. Sorry, I overreacted.
I mean, I don't think she was well, but she was able to knock.
Okay,
The
all right.
article was really vague on the key question, which was her brother trying to get her murdered, or did he actually think she was dead? Because he didn't get a death certificate, he didn't call a doctor, he just brought her right to the old
He didn't even
crematorium.
have time to dress up as her and get her pension check.
Amateur hour.
Yeah.
He did buy gloves, though, because he learned from that Italian guy. he was on it.
Yes. Well, so at the end of our quiz, we can reveal our winner. Niles again. Congratulations.
Everybody.
As always, you've won nothing save for the right of first plug. What would you like the people to know about?
Oh, thanks so much for listening. I have 2 podcasts. One is the Comedians and Dungeons Getting Dragons, which is a fun D&D podcast. We're the Arrested Development of D&D podcasts because we're good, but no one listens. And then there is my own good news podcast, Total Annihilation, which you should tune into if you have some problems with the news and the existential effects of said news.
Awesome. Claire Blackwood.
Yeah, I have a Patreon now.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Just started that yesterday. So it's patreon.com/Claire Blackwood Comedy if you want to go and check it out. And yeah, I think it's fun. And no, I got to work on my pitch, but
It's better than fun. It's amazing. Claire does fantastic comedy videos, and you should support that.
A few steps at a time. You got the Patreon. We'll work on
It took me months to get the pitch down. Don't
there
worry.
we go.
You're fine.
And yeah, you can find me on YouTube at It's Claire Blackwood, where you can view my comedy videos.
Excellent. Ian?
Yeah, find the Beaverton online. Find us on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok. Time Magazine. We're everywhere, baby.
Yeah, and we just added a whole bunch of new stuff to our merch store. If you're so inclined to check out merch, a lot of it is seasonal focus. So if you want something for on or under the Christmas tree, you can check out our merch store at the-beaverton.shopify.com.
You know what makes a great Christmas gift is a commemorative John A. McDonald shot glass, which is actually a pint glass.
Yes, that works too. There are also ornaments. That's why the on the Christmas tree line. But yes, okay. Now, Nile, you may.
What? Oh, thanks so much for listening, everyone.
The Beaverton Weekly Report is produced by Andrew Rivamy in partnership with the From Superheroes Network. Visit FromSuperheroes.com to hear more great podcasts like this.